Hello, Richard. We've put together the June magazine. Here we are in May after one of the most extraordinary, miserable springs that most beekeepers can remember. Very cold and now it's getting quite wet. But I suppose there's plenty we can still do about swarming. Have we got anything in this month's magazine?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, Stephen. Yes, we have an excellent overview of the Demery swarm management process. That's a vertical process for hopefully stopping your bees from swarming. We also have, very usefully, a guide on how to mark your queens, how to catch them either using a queen catching device or by hand. Stephen, what have you been looking at this month?
Well, I was approached by the Tarland Bee Group in Scotland. Aboyne Academy have been using the lockdown to great effect. Their art teacher has been getting students interested in bees, and they have produced calligrams. I must say, I had no idea of what a calligram was until I saw one. And I suppose most people recognize it. It's artwork composed of words. So the students at Aboyne Academy have been putting together artwork representing bees and writing in the anatomy of bees. So it's very educational and very artistic. We love the work. So that's our center spread for this month.
And I've been working on an article with Avril Earle, who is my new local seasonal bee inspector. And she started work as a bee inspector 3 years ago. I think this will be her third season. And she's spoken to us all about how you actually get recruited as a bee inspector and what her first couple of years have been like. Last year, of course, was rather strange in lockdown. She had to visit people's hives without them actually being there. And she's got some amusing stories about shouting down the garden and what she can see in the hive. But it's a fascinating look into how our seasonal bee inspectors work and what they get up to.
And down in Devon, we have got a lovely article from the Devon Apicultural Research Group, who have been looking for DCAs, and they're getting very well organized. Last year, in many senses, they were able to develop their ideas, and this year they're starting and looking in earnest and encouraging readers to participate. They can even provide queen pheromone. So that's a really interesting article. One of the great things that we don't understand how queens and drones, or where queens and drones mate, and they are coming up with some really interesting findings. And this is the first article. So if you want to join in, read the article and write off to them.
Now, Stephen, last month you gave us some information about your observation hive, which is behind you now. What's the latest?
Well, I'm listening and I can hear a certain buzz going on. I think they might swarm today. Being an observation hive, you can't really see the queen cells because you can't lift out the frames, but there's a lot of activity in there at the moment. I'll just have a quick look. Yeah, they're running around. It's cloudy outside, but I think as soon as the sun comes out, we're going to have a little bit of a departure. So I'll be rushing out there with my skep, trying to catch them, and amusing the neighbors no end. And finally, I should just refer to a little find that I came through my relatives, a set of diaries from the 1940s from a distant relative who was a beekeeper and a gardener, and he recorded it in little diaries. So I've just received these. I've just started writing up in HiveMind. There's a bit about it this month. And I just happened to look for 1951. This week in 1951 is fairly blank because all he's done is written cold decorating. And we have to wait until the 21st of May when he says, lovely May Day. So we're not the only people to have had a really bad spring this year.